Robert Abasi Stone, and you're tuned in to another lecture from the hood. Today's topic is the presidential elections. I am so glad that President Obama is no longer president. And you say, Mr. Stone, why do you say that? I say that because for 8 years, and it will be 8 years soon, that we were not able to question our president. Um, and trick or treat just passed, right? Halloween just passed. The trick that white people continue to use on us and racists continue to use on us is that they can do anything to us as long as there's a black mayor or president. We have to stop. We have to stop falling for this trick because if we don't, they'll give us a hundred black presidents and won't address any of our issues because we're busy fighting to protect them from the same racists who put them in office. Now, what does that mean? They put them in office intentionally to make it look like we've gotten ahead, that everything's equal, everything's fair. But while they're in office, they're cutting every single program that's black. Um, Police are still killing black people in the streets. The incarceration rate is still going up in the black community. All the negative indicators that say if we're doing good or bad increase. The negative indicators increase when there's a black leader in. It's not the black person's fault that this is happening. It's our fault. We have to make accountable anybody who comes into office. We were so busy uh, protecting President Obama that we lost a lot in the process. Now we had to protect him because racists were being racist. They didn't even call the man president. You know what I mean? I understand that. They attacked the man every chance they got. I understand that. You know what I mean? But he understood that when he ran for office, that the racists were going to come after him. Another point. We really hadn't had a black president yet. He's Nigerian with a white mother. So, and there's nothing wrong with that because I like Nigerians. The only point is that having elected a president that have bloodlines to slavery. Just something I thought I'd throw out there. Anyone who runs for office, mayor, dog catcher, president, have to be faced, have to be presented with a agenda that benefits us because everybody else does it. I mean, everybody presents an agenda to the leader about what they want in order to get their votes. Why can't we do that? We pay taxes, right? So why can't we demand something from any president and every president, white, black, blue, or brown? So my position is these cats that are running for office right now for presidency, the future mayors, they all have to be presented with our demands. If you want our vote, you have to address these issues, okay? And we have to judge everybody by how they address our demands that will save our race and save our people. Now, this is just a little outline that I did. It doesn't have to be these issues, but it has to be some issues. All right. So I'm just going to give you an idea of what these agenda, what an agenda could look like. Number one, the mass incarceration of African American men, and now women also, because that's increasing. Remember, every issue that exists is either going to increase or decrease. It never stays the same. Everything that's negative is increasing for us. Nothing is decreasing. Nothing's decreasing because we haven't done things or done enough things to stop it from increasing. So we're in a position now where we have almost, I think we surpassed it. We have more people in jail, probation, and parole than we had in slavery. So how is that progress? All right. So what are we going to do to stop that? You know, jobs, education, opportunities. That's not increasing. None of those things are increasing. As a matter of fact, these people, and that's number two, these people are destroying our schools. We don't even have public schools now. In Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, and Washington, schools have been destroyed, eliminated, and about to be sold off to corporations. So what do we do? You know, I suggest that we have an increase in the high school diploma programs for people who don't graduate, and for children who haven't graduated yet to have an increase in charter schools. Community controlled charter schools scares white people to death to believe that black people in the community that control schools. But guess what? It can't be any worse than when you control our schools when nobody's graduating, nobody knows how to read and write, and white folks have been doing this job for years controlling these schools. If black people control white schools and white children wasn't reading and writing properly, it wouldn't last a year. It wouldn't even last 2 or 3 months. But this has lasted for almost 100 years, where these folks are teaching our kids, and our kids can't read and write or do anything. So how can it be any worse? Community controlled charter schools. Um, Reparations. When we gonna get back to reparations? For all of you who don't know what reparations is, it's when you commit a crime and they tell you you got to pay for your crime. And that's what we're asking for with slavery. Everyone else has gotten reparations for problems things that the United States have done to them, but us. Um, we want increased education opportunities. We want financial restitution. We want business opportunities. We want all those things that make a community whole again after something like slavery. So reparations is an issue. What's the presidential candidate's position on reparations? What's their position on the mass incarceration of African American people? What about, I've heard President Obama talk about free community college. What happened to that program? Um, Business loans. Why can't we have business loans to start businesses ourselves? This is our tax dollars. We're not here asking for handouts. See, the first thing white folks are going to tell you is we're asking for handouts and we're taxing the system. The system can't take all this money being thrown around. The kind of money we're talking about is like this in the economy. The economy won't be hit at all by the kind of money we're talking about to do these things. I mean, it's so small, it's ridiculous. So when they start talking about that, remind them that we pay taxes too, and this wealth wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for slavery. You know, they don't want to talk about those things, but they act like they're the only ones who pay taxes. How about taxing some of these corporations? These corporations don't pay taxes at the level that they should be paying taxes, and everyone knows it. These corporations get tax breaks. These corporations get all kind of breaks that we don't get. So let's tax these corporations at the level that's fair. Even at a fair level, the taxation of these corporations can pay for all these programs that I'm talking about right now. What's the presidential position on these things? Um, whew. Legislation. What's their position on legislation to prevent white supremacist groups from infiltrating government institutions? What's the legislation to prevent the KKK, Nazis, and other white supremacist groups from infiltrating law enforcement? You know, what are we going to do about these things? And they have to address these things. And if they don't address these things, then we don't vote for them. What about all the people that are being put in jail because of drugs? What about drug treatment programs as opposed to incarceration? You're just going to lock everybody up? You know what I mean? This is a health problem. This is not a problem with people wanting to or just being criminal. This is a health problem. And you should address it. You guys bring the drugs in. You know what I mean? You guys make all the money off the drugs. You know what I mean? Why can't we get some health clinics to help deal with these with the drug issues on the back end after you made all the money off of it? You make the money off of it and then put us all in jail for using it. Come on, we have to stop this. This is madness. You know, this is pure madness. So this is just some examples. I have a lot of other examples like that we can present. Like, how about increasing trade with Africa? You know, there are programs such as the program in Cuba once had where they gave scholarships to African Americans for medical school. You know what I mean? These are a lot of things that are hidden from us that we don't know anything about. But we have to get the president, we have to get these public officials to move on these things. Okay? So I'm gonna stop there because I can go on and on with ideas. Whatever ideas you have, let's start presenting them and to these public officials, to these potential public officials, and do it no matter what color they are. Okay? Because we gotta survive. And if we don't survive, I mean, what's the use of doing anything if we're not preparing the future for our children? All right, I'm out. Stay on their asses. All right, all those public officials, the mayors, all of them need to stop taking us for granted. They treat us like trash because we don't stand together and present issues to them, and we give them the vote without them having to earn it. Those days are over. My name is Robert Abbasi, and we're going to get those public officials. Peace.